My old family home got demolished, and I got a payout of 100 million. I hadn't even had the chance to share the good news with my uncle yet, when I walked in to find my beloved collection of figurines smashed to pieces by my brother-in-law. Before I could even blow my top, he pointed his finger right at my nose and started cursing me out. Brother Moo, who gave you the guts to quit your job? I was completely stunned. Do I really need to file an application with you just to quit my own job? You just up and quit without a word. Then who's supposed to pay my living expenses? Where am I going to get the money for my bride price and a house now? I let out a cold snort and shot back. Are your hands and feet broken? Why don't you go make your own money? He shouted back with total entitlement. My sister said it herself. If I don't want to work, I can just stay home and rot, because you're out there earning money for me to spend anyway. My sister and I have our eyes on a place with a huge terrace, so you're coming with me right now to pay for it in full. Since your sister said to buy it, then go ask her for the money. After dropping that line, I quickly sent a message to my parents. Don't wire the money yet, or it might become shared property and get snatched away. Our old home in the countryside was being demolished, and they gave us 100 million. My parents were over the moon, and insisted on wiring the money to me immediately. I was ecstatic, and turned right around to hand in my resignation letter at work. Even though that job paid tens of thousands a month, the high pressure and constant overtime were destroying my health. I had planned to take $1 million or so after quitting to make some investments, and finally live a stress-free, comfortable life. I was full of joy, but when I got home to share the news with my wife, Lu Ruin, I found my collection of game figurines broken and scattered all over the floor by Lu Dekwai. He launched into a verbal bombardment, demanding to know by what right I quit my job without permission, and blaming me for cutting off his financial path to buying a house and getting married. My heart ached as I crouched down, picking up the mangled pieces of my figures one by one. Seeing this, Lu Dekwai shrieked at the top of his lungs. Sis! You need to keep your spineless husband in check. How old is he anyway? Stop wasting money on this junk. And how much could these figures even be worth anyway? They aren't even worth as much as the pair of shoes his wife bought her. Sis, did you hear? She quit her job. How am I supposed to survive now? Who's going to pay for the wedding house and the dowry? Lu Ruyan hurriedly stepped forward to comfort him. Then, she turned to frown at me. Why did you just quit all of a sudden? You're really done with work? Who's going to cover the household expenses now? Are you trying to force poor little Dekai out there to suffer at some dead-end job? Don't think for a second that quitting means you can just stay home playing games all day. So that's how it is. In his eyes, my hard work isn't worth a single thing. He's only worried that his precious brother might have to suffer a little. Playing games after work was my only way to blow off some steam, but he never showed even a shred of understanding. My chest tightened, feeling like I couldn't breathe. I was just exhausted and needed a break. Not long ago, I was so worn out I ended up in the hospital on an IV drip for 2 days. Lu Ruyan didn't even bother to call and ask how I was doing. You can't just quit, no matter how tired you are. Expenses are so high right now. If you toss your job away, are we all supposed to just starve? Just as they were talking, my in-laws sauntered through the door after finishing their square dancing. You actually quit your job? My mother-in-law shrieked as if she'd seen a ghost. I let out a bitter laugh. My body is falling apart. I need to rest and take care of my health for a while. With my experience, I won't have any trouble finding work in this industry whenever I want. My father-in-law pointed a finger at my nose and roared, You want to rest? What about us? Who's going to pay for Dekai's wedding house? My mother-in-law's face darkened too. I was planning on buying a couple $1,000s worth of lipstick and getting your father that $10,000 Tai Chi uniform, Lu Dehuai said in a chilling tone. Brother-in-law, you make $60,000 a month, so every day you don't work, you're basically costing me $2,000. Lu Ruyan pulled me aside. Her tone softened a bit, but when she heard I wanted to start a business, her brows instantly knitted in anger. Honey, starting a business isn't as simple as you think. 9 out of 10 people lose everything. You've got a monthly salary of tens of thousands. Just keep that. Don't go tossing it all away on some business venture. I wanted to come clean and tell her that after the demolition back home, I got 100 million, so we could live comfortably without a care in the world. But looking at the ugly, greedy faces of her entire family, I felt utterly disappointed and reached my breaking point. Seeing me stay silent, Lu Ruyan changed her tune again. Honey, hurry back to the company and cancel your resignation. Little D just bought a $500,000 car, you know. I looked at him, completely confused. 500,000? Where did he get that kind of money? Lu Dekwai stood to the side, looking incredibly smug. My sister just bought it for me a couple of days ago. A couple of days ago? I was lying in a hospital bed back then. She actually took my hard-earned money to buy her brother a car? A massive expense of 500,000, And you didn't even ask me? You just went and bought it? I can't even bring myself to drive a car that expensive. My own daily driver is only worth a bit over 100,000. I stared at Liu Ruyan, and my heart turned completely cold. Honey, little Day is trying to find a girlfriend. How can he do that without a decent car? He can earn the money himself, or your parents can pay for it. I can chip in a little bit, but I'm not footing the whole bill. Honey, we're husband and wife. My money is your money, isn't it? Little D isn't exactly the most handsome guy. If he doesn't drive a nice car, what girl is going to be interested in him? Hearing that, Lu Dekwai became even more arrogant. Exactly. Your money is my sister's money. What's my sister's is mine. Stop going in circles. At the end of the day, isn't your money all my money? I spent my own money to buy a car, so what? And another thing, I forbid you from using that money to start a business. Because that's my money. Lu Dekwan snatched the bank card right out of my bag. To keep you from wasting it, I'll be in charge of all the savings from now on. Since you've quit your job, I'll let you rest at home for 3 days. After that, get your butt out there. Once you find a job, you'll hand over 60,000 to me every single month. I'll give you 500 back. That's enough for your commute and some cigarettes. I let out a cold, sharp laugh, absolutely livid. Liu Ruyan? Has your brother lost his mind or something? Liu Ruyan snapped at me. Mu, I think you're the one who's lost it. He's the only younger brother I have. If you just gave him a little slack, would it kill you? I forced myself to suppress my rage, trying to stay calm. I secretly sent a message to my dad. Do not send that money no matter what. I don't want these people getting their hands on it. My dad replied instantly, sounding confused. Are you two having a fight? I replied directly. Dad, just listen to me, I know what I'm doing. My dad replied with an okay gesture. Then, I yanked the bank card right back out of Lu Dekwan's hand. Give it back. The 5 million in that account is every cent of my hard-earned money. There's no way I'm handing it over. And the car. You're paying me back that 500,000 too. Otherwise, this isn't over. Liu Ruyan dropped her tough act, trying to persuade me gently. You were going to buy it for her sooner or later anyway. She's still just a kid. Just go easy on her, would you? I was so mad I actually laughed. A man-child, 2 years out of college. Lu Dehuai, who was also called a kid, flew into a rage because his card got taken away. Sis, I'm doing this to help the whole family save money. My husband, Liu Ruyan, grabbed my arm and started acting all cutesy. He's just a kid. Is it really worth getting this worked up over? Just listen to him and hand over the bank card. Let him keep it safe for you. He's got a point, you know. We really could save a lot of money that way. You're a grown man. Isn't $500 a month enough for you to spend? The money we save will be just enough to buy him that luxury apartment. I've already done all the research. It's a brand new Riverview condo in the heart of downtown. The neighborhood and amenities are top tier. I was planning to take you to sign the contract and pay today. Let's go right now. I stared at him in complete shock. Something as huge as buying a house. And your whole family already discussed it? Only to tell me now? Liu Ruyan looked at me like it was the most natural thing in the world. You're busy with work, aren't you? Mom, Dad, and Dehuai went to see it a few times and we all love it. All you have to do is provide the money. A $5 million luxury home? My own parents have never even lived in anything like that. And they want to buy it for her? I forced down my anger and tested him. Is this apartment for the two of us to live in? What are you thinking? This is a wedding house for my brother. Why are you trying to crash the party? Liu Ruyan, if you guys want to buy a house, put up your own money. Keep your hands off my savings. As soon as I said that, the whole family's faces dropped and looked grumpier than a mule. Liu Ruyan shot a look at his father before the old man could blow up. Then, with a smile, they said, Fine, fine. Moving in there is fine too. The place is huge anyway. Someone's gotta live in it, right? I saw right through it. It was just a trick to scam me out of my money. I pressed them, asking, So it's just the two of us moving in? Or are Mom, Dad, and little D moving in too? I gave a nod. Sure, that works. Then I'll bring my parents over to live with us as well. My parents have worked hard their whole lives, and they're still stuck living out in the countryside. They were even planning to give me all their relocation money. It's only right that I look after them. Absolutely not. Lu Dekwai jumped up, roaring. Why should outsiders be allowed to live in my house? I'm the one paying for it. If they move in, my parents won't have space. How shameless. Claiming the house was his. With a dark look, I spat out 4 words. Forget about the money. Liu Ruyan's expression shifted in an instant. Moga, I'm only asking you to buy a place for little D. Is it really necessary to be this heartless? I was so furious I could barely breathe. To her, millions of dollars is just only that? Liu Ruyan realized her tone was a bit too soft. Even if the house is in little D's name, We'll definitely have a room kept for us when we move in. Liu Ruyan, do you really take me for a total fool? I let out a cold, sharp laugh. Fine, forget it. It's my fault. Are you happy now? Liu Ruyan, trying to play the step back to advance card, were they? The property market is really tight right now. Let's just go and pay the down payment first. Lu Dekwai chimed in from the side. Brother-in-law, let's get this settled first. The deed to the house has to be in my name only. It would be best to pay for it all up front in cash. That way, we don't have to worry about the hassle of missed mortgage payments later. If we do take out a loan, you'll be the one making sure it's paid on time. And once we have kids, you'll be responsible for buying the formula and the diapers too. I took a deep breath and stared right at Lu Ruyan. So that's how you've been planning this all along? Lu Ruyan sounded completely self-righteous. And what's wrong with that? We're all family, aren't we? You have the ability to make money, so why not help out your own brother-in-law? What's the big deal? He's the only brother I've got. In that moment, I completely lost any desire to keep talking to her. Lu Ruyan and I first met back in college. Back then, we were always bumping into each other at the library or the track. One thing led to another, and it just made sense for us to be together. She used to be so gentle and thoughtful. She would even volunteer to do my laundry. I was naive enough to think I'd found the one to spend the rest of my life with. She was always failing classes in college. I had to sit there and tutor her, step by step, just so she could barely scrape by and get her degree. After graduation, I landed a job at a top-tier firm and worked my fingers to the bone. My annual salary went from $100,000 to over $1 million. She wanted to study for the civil service exams. I supported her for 3 whole years, and in the end, she only managed to land a contract job paying $3,000 a month. Even though we were worlds apart, for the sake of our history together, we still ended up getting married. In the beginning of our marriage, she kept the house running like clockwork. But who knew it wouldn't last? Ever since she brought her parents and her brother to move in with us, everything changed. She spends all day taking them out, blowing money on trips and splurging. She doesn't lift a finger to do a single chore around the house. Every time I get home dead tired from working overtime, I still have to slave away and clean up the place. And if I don't feel like cooking, her whole family just sits there and orders takeout for every single meal without a hint of guilt. Her brother just spends his days doing absolutely nothing, hiding in the house, playing video games day and night. Meanwhile, my in-laws are downstairs every single day, dancing and playing chess, living the high life better than anyone else. Even though it felt suffocating, for the sake of keeping the peace, I always chose to just bite my tongue and endure it. But I never expected Lu Ruyan to lose all sense of boundaries. She's been going crazy, maxing out my cards, buying stuff for them. Yet, whenever I buy even a little something for my own parents, she'd jump down my throat and accuse me, saying I shouldn't be wasting money on outsiders. Honestly, showing some respect to our elders, I have absolutely no problem with that. But she spoils Lu Dekwon without any limit at all. It has to be designer brands or nothing. A shaver has to cost over $1,000. A suit has to be over $10,000. And shoes? They start at several thousand a pop. I don't even have the heart to buy myself an expensive shaver. I've been using a cheap one that only cost a few dozen bucks. In the past, when she wanted to spend big money, she'd at least put on a show and talk to me about it. But later on, she just started using my secondary card directly, without even saying a word to me. And now, it's even more outrageous. She didn't even ask before buying a car. She's even demanding I buy a house. That's right. Lu Dekwai chimed in, interrupting us. Look at you two, married for 3 years and not a single move toward having kids. So, your money is basically my money. Someone has to take care of you when you're old, and it's going to be me and my future kids. Not having kids. Is that really supposed to be my fault too? I pointed at Lu Ruyan and demanded an answer. Why don't you guys ask me? Why she's refused to have a baby for these past 3 years? Lu Ruyan wouldn't hear of getting pregnant, all because she wanted to keep her figure. Every time we were intimate, she forced me to be extra careful, and now they're using it as an excuse to attack me? Whatever, my sister is perfectly fine. I bet it's you who's the one who can't produce a kid. My mother-in-law shrieked at the top of her lungs. What the hell do you know? You're nothing but a loser anyway. Can't even have a kid. You aren't even remotely good enough for my daughter. My father-in-law pulled her away and gave me a cold, hard look. That's enough. Let's not get sidetracked here. Look, Moo. So what if you buy a place for Xiao Dai? Why are you making such a huge mess over nothing? You're literally turning this house upside down over some petty nonsense, he said, trying to sound all wise and fatherly. Women are supposed to handle the money. A man's only job is to earn it and let them spend it. Once we buy the place, there'll definitely be a room for you. You can rest easy about that. Looking at this whole family, my stomach churned with pure disgust. Lu Ruyan chimed in from the side. It's just a house for Xiao Dai. What's the big deal? It's such a small thing. Are you really going to burn bridges with your own family over this chump change? Lu Ruyan grabbed me and tried to drag me out. Honey, I've already put down a $50,000 deposit. If we don't buy it, that money is just down the drain. Come on, let's go. I'm not going. I shoved her away. If someone wants to buy a house, they can pay for it themselves. So, you're not buying it? Lu Dequan's face turned vicious. If he won't buy it, just divorce him. My mother-in-law started screaming along with him. That's right. If he won't buy a house, he's useless. We're family here, just get a divorce. You can find someone much better. My father-in-law cursed at me, his face pale with rage. You won't even buy a house? What's the point of keeping a loser like you around? Lu Ruyan just stood there, looking torn, and didn't say a word. Sis, trust me. Once you're divorced, you'll have guys lining up to date you. Lu Ruyan, eyes rimmed with red, gritted her teeth and screamed. If you don't go buy that house today, Mu, we are absolutely finished. To think, this is the woman I poured my heart and soul into for all these years. When I was in the hospital hooked up to an IV, she couldn't have cared less whether I lived or died. She didn't give a damn. But the moment her brother let out a single cough, she'd be so worried she couldn't eat or sleep. She kept blowing through my hard-earned money just to fund her brother's bottomless pit of a family. She bought a car behind my back and even used the threat of divorce to force me into buying a luxury mansion. In that moment, my heart finally turned to ice. Liu Ruyan, I get that you care about your family. I really do. But I'm a human being too. I need some care and warmth once in a while. Everything has to have a limit. Your brother has been lying around at home for 2 whole years since he graduated. Even if he were your own son, it's time to kick him out and make him earn his own way. I'm not going to be his babysitter for the rest of his life. Lu Ruyan cut me off, her tone harsh and impatient. If you don't want to take care of him for the rest of his life, then this marriage is over. Fine, let's divorce. When I said the word divorce, her eyes still welled up with tears that finally spilled over. I knew deep down, she still felt at least a shred of gratitude toward me. But a moment later, she wiped those tears away, cold and heartless. In her heart, I would always be the very last priority. I didn't even rank higher than the dog her best friend kept. She'd often buy expensive, imported dog food just to gift to her friend. Since that's what you've decided, then let's get the divorce. I felt an exhaustion I had never known before. I just nodded, completely numb. Lu Ruyan clearly hadn't expected me to agree so readily. She just froze there, caught completely off guard. Forget that selfish jerk, good riddance. This is the agreement I've had ready for a long time. Sign it, sister. With your looks, once you're divorced, you can totally marry into a wealthy family. Lu Dequai tossed a divorce agreement right in my face. I glanced at it and sneered. You want me to leave with nothing? Are you still dreaming? My parents bought this house for me before we even got married. Lu Ruyan tausinally raised an eyebrow, looking smug. If you don't want to get divorced, then be a good boy and go sell the house. This marriage is ending, no matter what. With a cold expression, I called my lawyer friend. I need a new agreement. Half an hour later, the new papers arrived. I didn't hesitate for a second and signed them. Lu Ruyan shouted in a fit of rage, "You, Mu, don't come crawling back on your knees begging me to take you back later." After signing, I walked to the door, turned back, and said coldly, "This house is mine. You have 3 days to pack your bags and get out." Without looking back, I stepped out of the house. The late-night wind was bone-chilling, but for the first time, I felt a sense of freedom and relief I'd never known before. I checked straight into the Garden Hotel, treated myself to a big meal, and finally got a good night's sleep. The following days, I threw myself entirely into my startup. I found a location for the shop in no time. I didn't expect that news about the 100 million in demolition compensation from my hometown would reach Lu Ruyan's ears. Just as I got back to the apartment complex, I was surrounded by her whole family. Lu Dequai was barking like a mad dog. "You scheming bastard, you actually tried to swallow my 100 million. Give it back right now. Mo. You despicable snake, you actually tricked me." Lu Ruyan, eyes red with rage, started screaming insults at me. I frowned and replied, cold as ice. "What exactly did I ever promise you?" To be honest, I didn't hate her completely. I was always willing to lend a helping hand when I could, but I was never going to be their eternal cash cow. Her family? They're a bottomless pit that you can never fill. They dragged me and my parents down into the abyss without a second thought. I actually thought she'd reflect on her own mistakes. Maybe then there might have been a chance to fix things. Of course, that 100 million, I was only ever going to use that for my parents' retirement. I'd never let that family touch a single cent of it. But man, I really underestimated just how shameless they could be. You started this fight on purpose. You tricked me into divorcing you. You just wanted the demolition payout all to yourself. Lu Ruan was shaking with fury. My former parents-in-law were right there, fanning the flames. That money was supposed to be Xiao Day's share. Using marriage fraud to steal money? Have you no conscience? Did a dog eat your heart? Neighbors, everyone, come look at this. This conniving snake scammed our family out of 100 million. A crowd of onlookers who didn't know the truth swarmed around us in an instant. Oh my god, this guy actually pocketed 100 million from the Lu family? He looks so polite on the outside. Who would have thought such a young guy could be so twisted, marrying a guy like that? She must have had the worst luck in 8 lifetimes, even stealing the demolition money from his wife's family. Scum like that belongs in jail. In a split second, I had become the target of everyone's hate. If you're smart, you'll cough up the money right now. Lu Dequai glared at me with pure venom. Liu Ruyan Chimedin, just give me the money back. And I might even consider getting back together with you. I just laughed. I was so angry I couldn't help it. I've seen shameless people before, but I've never seen anyone quite this thick-skinned. That money belongs to my parents. They just opened their mouths and declared it their own property. And then they had the nerve to curse me out like I was nothing. What makes you think that money is yours? I stared her down, demanding an answer. Of course it's mine. Lu Ruyan felt too guilty to even bring it up. This money actually came from the demolition compensation back in my hometown. Tell you what, hand over the money and get on your knees to apologize. And I might agree to remarry you. I let out a cold, sharp laugh. Does he really think he's all that? Thinking I can't live without him? That without him, I just starve to death? Not a chance. We are already divorced. I am never looking back in this lifetime. Lu Ruyan stood there, completely stunned, as if struck by lightning. What did you say? I am giving you a chance to turn over a new leaf right now. Hand over the money, and we remarry. I will let bygones be bygones. We can still live our lives just like before. My voice was icy. Live like what? Like the days when I was bedridden and sick, and not a single person would even bring me a glass of water? Lu Ruyan flew into a rage from embarrassment. This is your final warning. Fork over 100 million. You should save an opportunity like that for someone else. I cut him off without a shred of politeness. I must have been blind back then, to have ever married such a freak. If I were to give that money to her, it would be an insult to the very idea of 100 million. What makes her think her cheap feelings are worth 100 million? She wants me to cough up 100 million, and then keep playing the servant to support her family for the rest of my life? Has he lost his mind? Or do I look like an idiot to you? Seeing that I wouldn't budge, my former mother-in-law started wailing at the top of her lungs again. If you don't return the money, we are calling the police to have you arrested. I was practically begging them to call. I nodded and gestured. Go ahead, call them right now. Let's see who the police actually end up arresting. Lu Dequai stomped his feet, cursing him for being a shameless scoundrel. He actually plotted a divorce just to get his hands on the demolition settlement. He wouldn't even let me keep the apartment. This man is so incredibly calculating, he'd throw his own wife away for 100 million. A modern-day heartless traitor like that deserves to be thrown into a cage and tossed into the river. Good grief! Any woman who marries a guy like him is just begging for misery. I swear, I really want to walk up there and slap him twice. The crowd gathered around, started pointing fingers at me again. Some of them even looked like they wanted to get physical. Lu Dequai gloated, shouting cockily, "You're just trying to scam my sister out of her money. That money is mine. The demolition payout your family got belongs to me by right." As soon as he said that, the rowdy crowd went strangely quiet. The way everyone looked at him turned incredibly sharp and judgmental. Auntie Wang was stunned to hear this. Wait, that money came from that young man's family demolition? Someone couldn't help but ask. Lu Dequai finally realized he had let something slip. His expression turned incredibly awkward. His ex-mother-in-law chimed in with a sheepish, forced grin. Even if it is his family's money, my daughter is married to him, isn't she? So that money should naturally be managed by my daughter. And in the end, it's all for our little Dequai. The entire crowd of onlookers was instantly frozen in disbelief. So after all that drama, the money had absolutely nothing to do with the Lu family at all. Oh my god, Auntie Wang, your family is really beyond shameless. You're trying to steal your son-in-law's money and acting so entitled about it? How can you even say something so heartless? Do you have no shame at all? That Lu Dequai is already in his 20s, right? He does absolutely nothing for a living, just hanging around the neighborhood all day. He's a grown man, yet he has his hand out every day, asking his sister for cash. Doesn't he feel even a shred of embarrassment? I heard his sister only makes $3,000 a month, and he actually got her to buy him a $500,000 car. He really has no limit to his spending, does he? Once the truth finally came out, Public opinion did a complete 180. The people who were just attacking me started turning their guns on the Liu family. Liu Dekwai completely lost his cool. He started screaming, "She won't spend money on me! What's the point of my sister being married to him? Forget buying a car. Isn't it only natural that her family shells out 100 million for me to get a place? Her money is my money. At the very least, she should be giving me half." Everyone looked at him like he was an absolute moron, just a total clown putting on a show. I've seen shameless people before, but I've never seen a piece of work like this. How is it possible for him to have the nerve to say that out loud? Lu Ruyan jumped in to shield her brother, shouting, "Xiaode isn't wrong. It's just one house. Why can't you buy it? What right do you have to ask for a divorce?" I gave a cold laugh and shot back, "So if your brother gets married, does that mean I'm supposed to start supporting his brother-in-law too?" Lu Ruyan froze for a second, then shrieked, "That's not the same thing. My brother is family. His wife's family are just outsiders." I asked in a deadpan tone, "And what about me? Am I just an outsider too?" Lu Ruyan replied with total self-righteousness, "As long as you're willing to pay up, you're family. If you're not going to pay, what's the difference between you and an outsider?" My blood started boiling. "So let me get this straight. You just showed up to this marriage to freeload?" Lu Ruyan's face turned bright red, and she snapped back, "Don't put it so nastily. You're a man. If you don't support the family, who is?" I mocked her. "Aren't your brother and your dad men too? How come I don't see them out there working to support anyone?" Lu Ruyan was at a loss for words. Liu Dekwai cut her off, furious. "Don't waste your breath on him." He pointed at the middle-aged man who had just walked in Boss Liu. "Just look at my sister." Liu Dekwai glared at me, looking for a fight. "This Boss Liu is a big-time millionaire. He's already promised to buy me an apartment. Unlike you, so stingy and always pinching pennies." I gave the guy a once-over. He was in his 40s, greasy face all over, and a beer belly that looked like it was about to burst his shirt buttons. I couldn't help but chuckle. "Liu Ruyan, is this the high